So, I think it's time we had a little discussion. Now, if you follow me on Twitter,
You know what I'm
probably about to say, I want to send a quick word out there.
there to people.
Now, my earlier message that I posted on Twitter,
I'm going to repeat again.
on here, I'm going to try and phrase it maybe a little bit better to where I sound a little bit more sensitive to both parties here. Because I want to talk to men and women. First, let's cover women, okay? And don't label me off
Off the bat as sexist. Okay? If there's anyone that's gonna target me in this video, make sure to keep watching this video until the end. Just because I'm
targeting women,
right now, it does not
not mean that, I'm not going to have anything to say about
about men.
um, there are good women out there. I know one of my friends, she's a woman, and she's one of the best human beings I've ever met in my entire
Her
life.
life. So it's not saying that all
Women are bad, because that would be hypocritical of my message.
that I'm trying to send here.
There are women who go on social media and
Just spread this message
that all men are liars, they're cheaters, they'll steal your heart, and then they'll just take off. Just because you've had a bad experience doesn't mean that all men are bad, or because you saw something on the news, or
in the social media itself.
don't let social media
Media corrupt your mind.
you have to be open-minded. You can't spread a message like that because your message then gets spread to
To other peoples and communities.
and they take that
Message, and then that spreads
into a big word where women start to believe that there are no good men out in the world. And when women start to believe that, then the men see that, and the men are like, oh crap, maybe we shouldn't do anything right now.
this is not good. I mean,
We look like predators, we look like bad people here when women are doing that.
um
Again, I'm not saying that it's all women, it's just we can't have that type of that vibe going out there in the world. Women, you have to understand that men have feelings too. And, that sounds so easy to know. Well, of course they have feelings. But I think people forget
get that men
are human beings. Because we're brought into this world to be thought as tough sons of guns. That, oh, you have to be tough. You're a man. You know,
you can't
cry. You're a man. No, that's not true. A
man has feelings. If a man is so hurt that he's crying, um
a lot of times he's reached his breaking point. You know, I don't really cry as much. I'm not much of a crier. But when I do, I'm like reaching a breaking
point in my life.
um, it's not that I hold my emotions in. It's just sometimes it just
Just doesn't happen when I'm sad. I just look.
upset. I'm not smiling or anything. Or sometimes if I'm not smiling, I'm just got nothing to say in my mind really. But that's besides the point. Um, but if a man is like breaking down,
Crying. He has like a lot of times reached his
breaking point in his life, he feels maybe alone and he doesn't
know what to do.
so like it's okay to be upset and it's
Okay to be
angry at times. Just people need to learn how to control
all their emotions.
that's the thing, and that's the thing that I said there. Not women need to control their emotions,
Not just men, people.
it's people in general.
We have to try to know how
How to act out in a non-violent way when we're angry or even
upset. There's better
better ways to deal with your emotions. I felt like I got off topic.
a little bit there. Um,
So we just have to understand that men have feelings. And
it's not just
we're not all tough. Okay, some men, are willing to admit, hey, I'm not tough. Some guys, like me,
say, I would say
that I'm pretty tough. You know,
I don't cry over a lot of things.
things don't really get upset over a lot of things, but I still have feelings. I'll still get upset. I'll still get angry.
Angry at things. Understand why life is like this sometimes. Then I make
Cheesy shit like this. So, um, you know,
we're not all perfect.
we have our flaws in ourselves. You know,
And actually, you know what? Being sad isn't a
flaw. It's part of a natural human being, and I think
just that
a lot of people, and maybe it's social media, maybe it's just the way that our fathers were taught that we're supposed to be big and strong and brave and courageous
and not cry and not
not be, you know, as they say, act like a girl. Um, just it's human being nature. People are upset. People are upset. So just people need to understand that. And I would like to point out that if women
just keep targeting all men.
like this, eventually there's not going to be men to want to talk to women because they call us predators on social media. Or when a man and a woman are already in a relationship and they do something nice for a man, they're like, oh, I would love to have that in a man. Well, in order to have it in a man, you have to sometimes let a man come up to you and compliment you. Here's the thing, is that, ladies, it's okay to receive a compliment.
And I understand
By women, because of social
media or the news, they feel they have to keep their shields up for predators out there.
I understand that.
But I think we have to go out on a feeling
process of what could be considered as predators. I don't think that's a word, but
what could be considered as let's go dangerous.
If I just walked up to a woman and said, "Hey, you don't know me, but I just wanted to say that I really like your smile. It really made me smile."
Just to see someone else smile, I just think you got a nice smile.
That's something nice. Or just a man to come up and say, "I like your hair. I really like the style and the color that you did there." Or excuse me, maybe some girls wearing a
band T-shirt or something like, oh man, I really
love that T-shirt. I love that band. Stuff like that. It's warm. It's genuine, and it doesn't come off as
sexualizing somewhat. Doesn't come off across as just oh, you're so hot.
No, I wouldn't even. I don't know if I would call a girl beautiful to compliment them because that sounds
more flirtatious than just trying to
give someone a compliment. Um, so you just have to be careful with some of that, guys. And here's the thing, guys. If you want to walk up and compliment a woman, you can't just go up to a woman and say, "Oh man, girl, you got a nice booty," or "I like your boobs, real big,"
stuff like that. That is just
that's not a good compliment. I mean,
it's a good compliment if you're dating someone,
but to try and give a compliment to a woman, you have to find something better than that. You can't just go after the breasts or the butt. Find something more genuine to compliment.
Again, a woman's smile,
their hair, their clothes,
something.
It's just we have this misconception in life at times that all men are supposed to be rough and tough or predators on social media. And again, not all women are saying this. It just bothers me when one woman makes that
comment and like 30 other people agree with that comment. The
message keeps
spreading that way, and eventually it's like,
as they say,
you know, sometimes if you just keep spreading and spreading a message,
it just
spreads, and people start to believe it.
You have to, judge it
From your own mind and
your own experience, but you also have to keep an open mind. If someone gets out of a bad relationship, I'm not saying jump into another relationship right away.
way. Um,
But what I am saying is that you have to keep an open mind that it not all men are the same. It's one bad relationship could lead to
a beautiful
beginning of a new
relationship where you could be one of these women who has a great
guy and he, pampers you just like you see with all these
romantic couples on social media and stuff like that.
Where women are like, oh, I would love for my boyfriend did that for me. Oh my God, blah blah blah, stuff like that. You never know what's out there in life unless you take that chance. Now,
My message is not to say, you know,
I'll just jump, with the first guy. My message is that, they're being careful, but also just take the
shield down just a little bit, you know.
I fear that eventually
That, you know, it'll become to the point where
a man can't compliment a woman and then he gets looked at as being a stalker or a pervert. And it shouldn't be that way in life. People. It should be okay to give a woman a compliment. Same thing, you know. But I think maybe as a man,
I think some people appreciate that stuff and like, oh, thanks.
appreciate it. But like I said, it could
Be the same way for a man.
it could be
Thinking a woman is, you know, and I can't believe I laughed at that.
because a woman could stalk a man. A woman could be a predator towards a man, and I feel bad that I just laughed at that because that I chuckled at that. Because it's not often that we hear
Stuff like that. But it can happen out there in the world. And you have to realize that it's not just a man who can target a woman can target a man. It's just
not talked about a lot over social media and the news.
because it's not popular.
And that's the worst part about this is
it's not popular.
And I'm not trying to say that a woman being targeted is,
they only get the message out there because it's popular.
Just you don't hear anything really often about a man being targeted. Probably because it's not really what
people
care a lot about to hear. But it can be true in some situations at times. I want to stop the video before I start running off and running on and not making sense. Because
I had this whole thing planned out inside
my head of what I was going to say. And then
I got on camera and I'm like, I forgot everything
I wanted to talk about. Just people. Men, women, people who don't classify themselves as a man or a woman. Whatever. Just realize that we all have feelings out there. Some just don't show it as well. They just don't express that they're sad. Some people just keep
all their emotions
bottled up, and
that's
not healthy. You need to have someone in life to talk to about your feelings.
Whether you're a woman, a man, or
in between.
Like I said,
you can't just keep everything bottled up. We're all human beings. We all have feelings. We're not a bunch of predators out there. We're not all liars. I just hope that women out there, understand that, you have to um, make the judgment for yourself.
Don't
Let social media and
what people say corrupt you into
thinking that there's no good
men left out there in the world. Because if you feel that way, well, then eventually you're never gonna find a
good man in your life like you want, or not like you want. That came across bad. Like somewhat. That's better.
Some people want a good
Man in their life, but if you just
keep believing that there's no good men out there.
well, then you're only gonna hurt yourself in the end because you're not gonna find that good man that you're looking for because you're gonna be under the assumption
That you can't trust men, that you
can't that you can't have something good.
it is
It's possible to have something good out there.
you just have to be willing um, to give it
Try, and those words that I just said, give it a try, could be spread to a man and woman, and again, in between.
um,
Just my message here is just please
remember that everyone has feelings.
I did not make this message to
Pour my heart and
so loud on YouTube because I have a women
woman.
woman relationship problem thing like that of that nature.
Um,
I do not. Just it just bothers me sometimes when I see
that word,
spread out there on social media.
and
It sucks when it's just
one person that I
I see, but then I see people who like the comment, which basically in my mind makes it feel like you agree.
with the comment. And if
If that comment has like 60 likes, that means it's like 60 people
people out there in the world that actually,
agree with that comment.
that
Scares me. That scares me that a message like that could be spread and people agree with that message. And no one speaks out to defend it, really. A lot of times, a man will defend it, but a woman, I mean, whenever I see a message like that, there's not a lot of times that a woman actually defends a man in that situation. And it shouldn't be like that.
I feel that it should, like,
A woman, if I was a woman spreading this message, I think it would come across, more genuine, and that I'm talking, more personally to you. Um, as a man, maybe I don't sound, um, I don't want to say 100% genuine. I can't really find the word right now that I would use for this context.
situation.
Um, more of a place of understanding, I suppose. Um, if a woman talks to a woman and the woman, like a woman
Says something about a man that all men are liars.
and then if a woman steps in and says, "Hey,
That's not true. I don't have a boyfriend.
boyfriend," but I'm always willing to look, and I understand that there
There's some bad men out there,
but there are also lots of good men.
well, then that creates a little bit of a situation where
People are
reading this comment and they're like,
like, a woman just stood up to another woman, and she said something good about a man. Maybe she's not all wrong. I mean, maybe that person
is wrong.
because if a man just does that, then like, oh, it's just a man standing up for himself because
His pride got hurt.
or something like that. No, just if a man standing up like that, it's just because he is fighting for what he believes in. Now, a man should not target a woman in a sexual way.
What I saw
On social media was some guy who targeted a woman and said, "Oh, you're just mad because you can't get no dick." Really? That's how you want to get your point across? Grow up. Actually, you know what? Grow up. Don't just grow up.
shut up, because
You cannot represent what you're saying. You're trying
you say, well, you're trying to stand up to a woman.
woman who says that there's no good men and that all men lie, and then you just say you're just mad because you can't get no dick. What you're proving the point.
that there's no good men out there. Because when you act like a
Dick and say something so rude like that, well, then you're just proving the point. You can't come across as a mean person. Now, you can get angry, but you have to be careful. The best part about social media is we can hit
the
backspace button or the delete button and take away our anger before we post it. We can phrase out our words better before we post it. You know, that's the best part about social media is that you can backspace before you post it. Yeah, before you post it, of course.
just
You have to think about what you're saying first, and you can't
target someone
who's at a hostile state of saying stuff like all men are liars, cheaters, blah blah blah. Like I just said, you can't come at them with hostility and just say, "Oh, you're just mad because you can't get no
dick.
It's like that's creating more hostility, making the fire go rise higher. You gotta come with understanding and just say, "Listen,
I just want you to know that I disagree with you. You know, I am a
mad, and I feel I'm kind of upset that you would say something like that.
I'm a good man.
Have I said some things before that I may have lied about? Yes, I'm honest about that. But I'm man enough to say that, or not man enough, because
Man enough isn't.
man's term.
Why don't we just say something with the human being aspect? And just say, I'm
um, I'm strong enough to admit that I've
made my mistakes.
but I've never lied to my woman. Would never do that to her. Stuff like that, of that nature. You know, just we can't come at each other with when one person is acting hostile. You can't come in with another hostility because that just creates
More fire.
of oil on the flames and the fire rises. If you come at a point where you come across as genuine and try to talk about it, more in a genuine
approach, within the fire
might start to go down. And if it doesn't, well,
then you know what? If a man stands up
for the woman who said
some negative comment and he came across as genuine
and understanding, well, you might have a stronger possibility of other women reading his comment and being like, he really tried. And this woman who may have just said, "Oh no, you're just lying to me right now." Well, then they might look at that woman and be like, "I don't think he's lying. I think he's trying to be genuine and just try to explain his situation." So, yeah, just to summarize this whole long-term message here,
just
understand that we all have emotions, and that we just all need to try to understand each other, and we just need to think about how someone else is feeling before we start spreading things like that. You have to be careful with what you're spreading, because someone might learn your message and then spread your message to someone else. And if your message was negative, well, then that negative message reached them, and then they post that negative message to reach to someone else, and so on and so forth. But at least with this,
at least I hope this is a positive message
to send.
um,
This is a positive message, and it sends out there to the whole world community. I'm not trying to change the world or anything
like that.
That's way too big of a job for one man. That would take all of us together to create a better world. I know. I sound like I should be running for a president's speech right now. But no, this was just from me to kind of
post out there. And whenever I do make
videos, it's not for people. I just make these videos
for myself, just because I want to talk to the whole world.
What better way to spread your message
than through a social media or through YouTube?
it's a good message out there to spread. Is that we just need to
be nice.
to each other. We just need to think about how the other person would feel about that message being put out there, and we just need to try to understand that we have to judge each other from our own experiences. We can't just go out there and just agree with
what one woman says that
all men suck, basically. Look, I'll be honest. Sometimes, yeah, we do suck because
we
the downstairs button hits and we're all about, oh man, she looks good, and we shouldn't think
think like that, but
sometimes women are the same way. It's just that's just
our
our
natural
instinct. We all can appreciate someone's body, but the thing is that we just can't act upon our impulses and say something so sexualizing of a man or a woman. We just have to be like
find
a better compliment to say to someone.
not a
Sexualizing compliment. Save the,
sexualizing compliments.
in my opinion at least, for when you're dating someone. Because when you're dating someone, then it's okay to kind of, talk a little bit
More of a nasty, I guess we'll call it.
as opposed to,
Saying just a genuine compliment. So, yeah,
we just,
fine.
I've been talking a lot. So during this time, I just hope that someone found at least one thing.
But I said that they can agree with.
That was all. Thanks to everyone who sat here and watched me ramble on. And you know what? All I'm doing is talking. I'm not jumping around or doing jumping jacks or nothing like that. So if you just want to put me on your audio while you're fucking playing a video game or something like that, go right ahead for it. I should start my own podcast. Just kidding. Alright. Peace.